Hey everyone, today I'm going to do a quick shoulder strengthening workout on the reformer using the tower and some other springs as well. So I like to have a wooden dowel with the eye loops attached so that I can attach them to the ropes. You could use a shorter one like you may have on your tower. I just happen to like the long one for doing some external rotation. And then have your push-through bar up on one red spring attached to the top of your tower. And you'll also need one short yellow with two handles attached to that short yellow. And I'm just going to set that on this chair and I'll grab it later. And I'm going to also set this pole down underneath the machine and I'll grab it later. So with your long box on top of your mat, be on one red or one blue spring. I'm probably going to start with one blue because I'm dealing still with this frozen shoulder. So I'm just doing some physical therapy type strengthening for myself. Headrest is down and you'll need your push through bar in your hands. So sitting on the box facing the bar, feet on the headrest, legs squeezed tightly together. Generally here, I find we lean forward slightly, so make sure to pull your bottom, your pelvis, up underneath the shoulder girdle. And then really sitting tall, pressing the feet down into the headrest to activate the legs. You're going to pull chest to the bar and release. So focusing on the shoulder blades squeezing together and slowly releasing. Do not allow the back to arch, meaning don't bring your chest to the bar and arch your back. Try to keep that spine tall and lifted and just move those arms back and forth. Let's do two more. Keep the shoulder blades pulling down your backside. Last one, and release. Turn your palms to face up, and then pull the elbows down as you bring your chest to the bar, and release. Elbows go down and back, and reach. Breathing in and out. Holding and hesitating there for just a moment, squeezing the upper back muscles. Again, pressing into the feet to help activate the legs and the lower core. I'm going to do a few more. I don't usually count. I kind of just do what feels right. One more time. And release. Turn those palms to face down, and you're going to just hang down over your lap, trying to stretch the shoulders and the lat muscles. Now I can't hang low because this left shoulder doesn't go up high. So if I let go of the bar, you can see I can go really low and hang from my right arm, but that's not the goal. The goal is for me to stretch this left shoulder as much as I can. So I'm just going to lower down as much as I can, let the bar sort of pull my arms up, give myself a little traction, and breathe. I'm still working to pull this shoulder blade and lat muscle down as my arm is being lifted up because I don't want my shoulder hiking up to my ear. And grow tall. So I just place my feet on the frame and release this bar and bring my carriage back in. And then I'm going to come off for a moment, put this bar down, and while I'm standing, I'm going to remove my red spring from the top center of my tower and place this short yellow with the double handles attached to the top center. And I'm going to leave that there for right now. And then I'm going to grab that wooden dowel with the eye bolts attached and attach it to the reformer rope. And then I'm going to have a seat on the box. I'm still going to keep this one blue spring on. I may find that that's too heavy for my own really poor strength right now, or I may find it's too easy and I need to go up to a red. So legs can rest on the reformer carriage or hang down, whatever allows you to sit really tall. And then bring your elbows, pull on the carriage, pull on the bar a little, bring the elbows into your sides, palms are face up, and the hands are only as wide as your own body. And then you're going to allow the carriage to go into the bumper. Your right arm is pulling on the stick and your left hand is crossing the midline, but you're trying to keep your elbows hugged into your sides. So I'm externally rotating this right arm, I'm internally rotating my left arm, and then we go the other way. Now I pull this way, and I use, because my left arm does not rotate well right now, I'm pushing a little bit heavier with my right hand to get that left arm to externally rotate. And then I go back the other way. So I go slow and take my time with this and really find and push the limit as much as I can. Now, if you don't have a frozen shoulder, you can probably just glide back and forth and not necessarily have to stop for too long to add that extra oomph, unless you want to. But I need to, because I've got to get this range of motion to come back. And I make sure to go both directions. So even this way, where the carriage is going in and I'm pulling my arm across. If you find that you're struggling to keep your elbows by your side, you could grab some pads, and I'll actually do that, or some pillows, some cushions, like a garden pad or a half round pillow. And since I have those in this box, I'll grab one of each, even though it's probably best to have them the same, and put one item under each arm so that you're having to hold them in as you're moving this bar. And that way your elbows won't come away, because if they do come away from your body, you will drop the pads. And I try to do about 30 of these. Now, obviously I haven't counted, but I'm going to say maybe I've done 10 so far, and keep going. This is great rehab for a frozen shoulder, as well as other shoulder issues like rotator cuff issues. One of the big things is to make sure your shoulders stay down away from your ears and your neck stays long and tall. We want our nerves to run through our spine from our head and be able to easily communicate to our body without any compression. Last maybe 5. Maybe I didn't do a full 30, but my shoulders are already getting tired. I've been doing a lot of work on it. Last one here. Gonna push it a little further. And back. I'm gonna do this again with my palms face down. I might have my legs hang this time. So sitting tall, elbows hugged in to the sides, shoulders rolled down and back, hands no wider than your own body, or maybe less so. And then get your carriage in, use your right hand to pull that left arm across. I can feel the stretch on the outer shoulder, and then push your hand out to the side, externally and internally rotating. You'll notice maybe that I compensate a little bit trying to get the arm to move further, I will sometimes do funky things with my wrist, like bend it to make me feel like I'm pushing further. Try not to do that if you're dealing with a similar issue like I have. This pad's slipping. Exhale, inhale. I'm going to do 10 more. That's going to maybe be about 20, I would guess. I had hopes to do 30 of everything, but it's too tired. And I want to be able to get through some other stuff. One more. And release. Good. So I'm just going to put this pad down here. Hopefully it'll stay. And then I'm going to turn to face the foot bar. So my bottom is close to the back of the box, and my feet are resting on either side of the box. And I just have to get my right hand back here on the end of the stick and pull it around. And then I'm sitting forward, and I'm going to push and pull. So getting my chest muscles nice and strong. Anchoring my shoulder blades down my backside. If this is too heavy, go lighter. I'm only going to do a few more. And last one. And back. Now I'm going to grab the other reformer rope and attach it to this side. So I'm sort of seat belted in, and we'll see how this one goes. So palms are up, hands are no wider than your own body. Roll those shoulders down and back. Heart is open. Reach out and back, like serve the tray. Reach. Don't be afraid to squeeze your ankles along the box to help stabilize your pelvis. This one's really hard for me. One more. And back. I'm going to remove the strap or rope on the right side and drop it. And then we'll see. I might have to lighten the weight here. I'm definitely going to have to lighten it. I don't think I can do it. So I am going to one yellow spring because I have that option, thankfully. Otherwise, this might be impossible for me. And then hands wide on the bar, sit tall, shoulders down and back, and punch and return. With the rope on my left side, it's a lot of pressure for that left arm. So a lot of strength, even though it's one yellow spring. It's working. Last one, because I don't think I can do any more. And back. Whew, okay. I'm going to go back to the blue spring, although I may regret that, and turn to the left, facing the long edge of my mat. I'm actually going to hold those props under my arms again. And again, you can use two of the same. I just happen to have this, so this is what I'm using. And then I'm gonna sit tall. Palms are face up for the first one, elbows hugged into the body, and the hands are no wider than the width of my body. And then I'm going to let the carriage come in, working on using my right hand to sort of push this left arm into external rotation, which it really doesn't want to go into. And then I'm going to pull the left arm. So yes, I'm using some strength for the left arm, but I'm adding a push and pull with my strong right arm to get the range of motion to be just a little bit more. But I'm not using my right arm to fully push and pull. My left arm is being active. It is doing the work. And I'm just, when I get to my furthest point, I add a little bit of extra by pushing or pulling with my right hand. Use the breath. It helps distract you from the discomfort and gives you power. And I'm just going to do a couple more, but I would normally want to do 30. Maybe if I was not spring-loaded and I was just using the pole and no spring tension, I could get to 30, but I just can't get to 30 right now. All right, palms face down, same thing. Pull across, keeping those elbows hugged into the body, and away. Working on that internal and external rotation. Make sure you're breathing, make sure you're sitting tall, head is high and shoulders are low. Let's do 5 more. Excellent job, guys. I'm going to do 1 more for good measure and release. Good. So I'm going to toss the pads back into the box. And I'm going to turn again to face the headrest, my feet on the headrest. And we're going to do some rowing to get some rotation through the shoulder. So right now, the reformer rope on the right side of me, based on facing the headrest, is attached to one end of this wooden dowel. My right hand is down low, close to the rope. My left hand is close to the top. It could even be on top. We're going to pretend we're paddling a canoe. So sitting tall, draw that elbow, right elbow, down and back as far as you can. Get a little rotation in your waist, and then bring it up and around. So sort of a teardrop shape of that arm. Just like you're paddling a canoe. Make sure your knees are not swaying with the revolution that's occurring in your spine and your arm. I love this one. This feels so good, whether you have shoulder issues or not. And I work hard to pull, even though this is my good shoulder right now, the right one that I'm pulling with, I pull that bottom tip of the shoulder blade down into this towards the spine to activate all those muscles for my posture. And then we're going to reverse it. So we're going to pull up high and then dip that stick down in the imaginary water and go forward. Up and back, little rotation of the spine from the rib cage. Be careful. I can already feel my trap muscle up near the top of my shoulder getting a little bit tired. So just be careful that when you hike up your arm, you're not hiking your shoulder So I'll show you on this side, hiking your shoulder up to your ear. So keep the shoulder down and just move the arm. Don't lift that elbow any higher than you feel like you need to. Couple more. And release. And then we're going to trade to this other rope. So now this rope is attached to the bottom of my stick, and my left hand is close to the bottom, close to the rope side, and then the free side of the stick is where my right hand is placed. Sitting tall, shoulders rolled down and back. I pull my elbow back, down and back as much as I can, add a little bit of a turn from my waist, but try not to separate my knees, and then bring the elbow up and around as high as it will go safely. I might actually add my right hand on top to help me push a little bit and stabilize when I do this. Otherwise, I would be holding right here, which is fine too. Try not to lose tension on the reformer rope. If you kind of go too fast, you'll see yourself sort of kind of playing catch. Don't do that. Go slow. Keep tension on that rope as you stir this arm around. All of this stuff is tough when your shoulder is frozen. So take your time with it. Don't do heavy weight. Just get mobility through that joint. Let's do a couple more. I don't know how many it is because, you know, I don't count. And we'll reverse it. So this is probably going to be a little tougher. So I pull, oh yeah, much tougher. And push down and forward. Pull without hiking my shoulder up to the ear. So you can see my elbow is not going very high, because if I lift it too high, I end up taking over with my trap muscle in the top of my shoulder, and I overuse it, and it's already kind of burned out from all the compensation I've done trying to move this and use this arm in just for daily tasks like blow drying my hair. Feels nearly impossible. I think I've only got a couple more in me. And release. Good. Now I'm going to just set the stick down. I'll leave the rope attached. I am going to add another spring. Like I'm just going to put a green, maybe a green and a red. So I've got a green, a red, and a blue. Whatever you have on yours. I just don't want the carriage to move much. So now I want to use the tower, and I want my carriage to stay pretty still. So this is where you need your short yellow with the two handles attached. I have the triangular handles, but you can use regular straps, kind of like foot loops, and that works too. You just need it to be equally a double loop of some sort. And then sit back here and sitting tall. So roll those shoulders down and back, keep the chest and collarbones open. But often when we do that, we might arch the back, protruding the front ribs. Remember that your torso is a cylinder and needs to stay in that shape to have the best amount of power when we're doing certain things, this one included. So I want my shoulder girdle directly over my pelvic girdle, and I don't want to be arched or flexed, at least not for this exercise. So what I'm going to do is let the spring just pull my arms out in front of me. I roll those shoulders down and back. I hook into my abs, and then I pull my elbows back behind me and squeeze the tips of the shoulder blades together, and then release. And pull and hold. Get that fire in your back. Really pull and squeeze and release. And again, and notice I'm not just releasing the springs, I'm resisting that recoil of my springs. Squeeze and hold and cinch it all together and release. Several more. I love these ones. They actually really do feel good. They feel like they obviously strengthen the back and the posture, but they open up the front of my shoulder where I have a lot of impingement going on. Couple more. And last one. And release. And then we're going to do a couple more things. So now coming off, I'm going to hook this short yellow to about midway up the tower, and that's going to be based on your height. So I'm 5'9". If you're a lot shorter than me, you may have to hook it a little bit lower, but I want it a little bit lower than my armpit level. And I'm just holding one handle, and I'm standing next to my machine. So my frozen shoulder, I was going to say bad shoulder, that's why I did the quotes, but frozen shoulder is on the left, so that's what I'm starting with. And I'm going to press the spring with my hand into a little bit of an open position. So there's already some tension. And then I want to keep my arm pressing away from me a little bit and walk away. And I can't go far because then my arm's going to cross and I don't want it to cross. So start in where it's hardly any tension. Get that activation of your external rotation and then keep that hand pushing into the spring as you walk to the left and then return and do it again. These are strong. And return. And try not to take it in your trapezius muscle and just go to where you can. Don't force it to go anywhere you shouldn't. Sometimes if I put pressure in that trap, it helps loosen it and release it a little bit. So it's like an isometric hold in that slight, mild external rotation. I'd really want my hand out here, but it doesn't have the strength. So I'm just going to where I can. And I'm really pinching or cinching underneath my armpit where my arm, the bottom of my arm attaches to my body. That's more than I can do on there. That's enough. And then we'll do the other side. I was going to do something else, but I think my arm's just getting too tired. So I'm going to hook it to the other side and walk around. Because even though this is my good shoulder, we can't just strengthen the one. I have to be even. So I'm grabbing my spring, my one handle, turning to face my machine. I'm getting my arm in a slightly externally rotated position with a little bit of pressure, not too much, but a little bit of pressure away from my body, anchoring my shoulder down and back, and I walk away. But I don't allow the hand to move across the midline. I keep pushing through the back of my hand, and I feel all of that right back here in this posterior deltoid area. On this side, which is my stronger side, I can do more and it actually feels good as opposed to painful. But it's a lot of work, I feel it. Last one. And release. Good. And then I'm going back to this stick. I'm going to remove the stick and I'm going to lay down on this tower mat. And we're just going to finish with some arms overhead stretches. So I'm going to put my hands wide on this bar. You could use a broomstick for this too, or a mop, but I like the width of this bar. It's wider than my body, as opposed to some of the other wooden dowels that are attached to the tower. I like my hands to be a little bit wider than my body. And so I'm going to slowly, keeping my shoulder blades flat and wide on the mat, raise my arms overhead. And I'm just kind of going to where I can. This is so much better, guys, than I've been able to do in a long time. And I get to this stopping point with my left arm. My right arm could keep going, but what I'm going to do is use my hand on this pole to push my left arm a little bit more, a little bit higher overhead, closer to the mat, without my rib cage popping up, without my shoulder hiking up to my ear. And then I bring the arms down and we do it again. So we lift up. I'm kind of letting the right arm take the load, picking up my left arm and going to wherever I can. And then when I can't go anymore, I just try to use my right hand on that stick to push my left arm overhead more. And then return down. And even the return down, just that left arm just feels so weak. So I have to use a lot of strength through my right arm to stabilize and support. Sometimes I will find myself cheating and like flexing my wrists to make me feel like I've gotten lower. So don't do that. Keep your arms straight and down. Now, if you don't have shoulder issues and you still want to do this workout, by all means, you can still do this, and you can get your arms all the way to the mat, then do it. But pay attention. When you get your arms all the way, I can do it with my right arm. When you get them all the way to the mat,
does it cause you to arch your back and protrude your rib cage? Don't let that happen when the arms go overhead. I'm going to do 2 more of these to finish.
and one last one. And release. Ugh. I'm tired. My shoulder is tired. So now I'm just going to stretch this arm. So I'm going to do right arm first because it's easier. I'm just going to do a little side stretch. Getting into my lat muscle. Taking some big deep breaths. And finish on the other side. This one won't look as pretty, but it's necessary. Shoulders down, away from your ears. Still a lot better than I've been able to do, so it's getting better. And rise up, maybe clasp those hands behind your back, open up your chest. And we did it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.